Hey everyone, this is Denny.
And this is James from TDB, bringing you episode 98. So what do we have today?
Well, we are going to be drinking a black tea made with pu'erh material. This is from Essence of Tea, or The Essence of Tea. Google them. Check them out.
Yep, so I don't think either of us have ever had a tea from Essence of Tea.
We have
from
not.
The Essence of Tea.
The only essence.
Yeah. So, but this tea, I think they may have seen our episode on the Big Tree Red from white to tea.
It's cool.
And it looks like this
really
red tea was pressed into a cake.
Yeah, it's really soft. It's not pressed very tight.
Okay. Alright.
And I'm going to kind of try to get it pulled apart more than I would on average. And, you know, like with many of these weird kind of category bender teas, it's hard to figure out exactly how much leaf to use, how to brew it. We haven't had this before, so we're just going to kind of give it a shot.
Yep.
So
it's 120, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a little bit back, but we're going to call it about 4 grams of leaf.
Okay. So, relatively light leaf to water.
Yeah, but if this is actually a black tea, then I think that'll be pretty good.
It certainly looks like a black tea.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it has that sort of golden tips look and feel, for sure.
Yep. And so the harvest material of this, for those that are pu'erh heads, is the Mengsong region of Yunnan, and that's usually almost always, I think, the material there is used for pu'erh tea. And I believe they actually press some of this as pu'erh tea as well. So you have a pu'erh tea cake and a red tea cake of similar, if not the same, base material.
Interesting. And
how's the
in terms of the base material?
Yeah, how's it looking?
It looks pretty good. It looks
Yeah.
pretty clean. A little bit of sediment there, but nothing crazy.
You giving it a nice long rinse?
I'm gonna give it a nice long rinse because I feel like with black teas, it's good to get the first steeping solid and not have it be kind of one of those like sort of in between steepings. Smell it. Give it a smell. What do you think? Smells like a black tea.
It certainly does. And you know, I don't drink a ton of black teas, so it smells very... It fits very nicely into that sort of Yunnan black category for me.
Yeah. This is actually... I was just drinking a tea from Smacha, and that black tea was much more perfumey. This is much more fruity, interestingly enough. So... And I like to, again, I'm agitating the tea a fair amount here for black tea specifically. Black tea and green tea, I'll do this in white tea. And we'll call that basically good. Whoop. So again, 125 milliliter Gaiwan, 4 grams of leaf. That was maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah. So under those ratios, I would guess that we probably won't get... extreme longevity.
That's right.
Is that about right?
More of the corn coming out of that now, so more of that Yunnan sort of vibe.
I'd say the aroma is even stronger than the previous one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Starts out with a kind of a kick of bitterness, at least the way that I brewed it, but there's no tannin-y aspect of it. It's not, the bitterness doesn't really last very long. It's almost like bitterness in the sense that like cacao is kind of bitter, coffee is bitter, but it's not.
Yeah, and then it pretty quickly changes into a very sweet, softer texture. The softness of this tea actually really grips me in a lot of ways. Like texturally speaking.
How would you compare it to?
I don't know. You know, that's hard to say because I just don't have a ton of black tea or red tea, so it's hard for me to... It's probably quite a bit more difficult for me to place this compared with someone like you who drinks a lot more of this.
I was actually going to say that for me it almost reminds me in terms of the texture of it of white tea, in that it's kind of... I don't know. It's viscous, but the flavor is not too intense. You know, sometimes you like overbrew a ripe pu'erh and it's like molasses, and it's really intense. This is kind of like thick, but not super strong flavored. And the leaves themselves, nice and big. They've expanded quite nicely in the go on. And we'll do a little bit of a slower pour. I have a tighter seal on this one. A little bit more red now.
Yep.
I would hope this is going to be one of the best steepings. But yeah, I would so can you tell this is a black tea made with pu'erh material? I can't.
I can tell that it's a black tea probably made from Yunnan, but
Yeah.
not necessarily like material that's always used for pu'erh.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting that vibe as much.
How would this tea? Well, let's drink this, and then I'm going to ask you how would this tea compare with your standard, the Ilau Mountain tea?
Yeah. Much fuller, much more of that corn Yunnan sort of vibe going on.
Mm-hmm. Kind of has this, like, the texture continues to grip me, and it's kind of like this thick syrup, but it's also soft. So it's really, like, just soft in the mouth. And that's the prominent thing that I notice.
I think it's kind of creamy in terms of the flavor.
Mm-hmm. I get to see that.
I'm not getting a lot of variety of flavor out of this, which isn't bad. I think it probably just speaks to the kind of weird juxtaposition of the different tea material and different processing. To answer your question, this, in part of what I just said, kind of speaks to it. This isn't as bold. I'd say that this is more of a lighter black. It's got less intensities with it, and so depending on your palate, that can either serve you really well, in the sense that it's kind of mild, but it could also be sort of not. It might not grab your attention quite as much as you would hope.
Mm-hmm. And how's the aftertaste on this?
I'm not getting a super long aftertaste. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of more of like a bubble sort of shape of it. It's kind of like it's got some oomph to it in the front, nice big bold body, closes off, kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that is changing in sort of the mouth feel aspect of it.
It's just not super dynamic within the mouth.
Yeah, not
yeah,
for me.
I would probably agree with that.
But I think we brewed it pretty well. You can maybe experiment with brewing this with a little bit more leaf, especially because it's pu'erh material. It might just be a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
I think the bitterness has died off completely.
That aroma is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Take a sniff of that.
Yeah.
That aroma actually smells quite a bit different than what I'm used to as far as like a Yunnan black.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit more vegetal smells in there. Interestingly enough, so for a little bit more fruity, a little bit more vegetal.
Yeah, I think
it doesn't taste very smoky.
I think this tea still has some more to give.
Yeah,
is my guess.
Yeah, we'll give it another steeping. But James, if someone wanted to learn more about the essence of tea, what should they do?
They should go visit essenceoftea.co.uk, I think. That might just be essenceoftea.com, but yeah, Google Essence of Tea.
Google.
That'll get you there for sure. They are traditionally a UK-based shop, but since then they've moved ship to Malaysia. So they are now sourcing a lot of pu'erh teas. They also specialize in yancha, wui oolongs, and that sort of thing. So a lot of higher end, mid to higher end teas there, and they sell by the gram. So that's kind of nice if you want to just order a sample. And this is my first experience with the essence of tea. So we'll see how it goes.
It's been essential.
Yeah.
If you guys want to learn
more about bad puns, visit tdv.org.
Exactly.
Where we're releasing bad puns every week.
Every week.
And in between our bad puns, we have in between bad pun
episodes.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Check us out. We have tons of content on the website, videos, tea reviews, vendor reviews. Yeah, it's really blossoming here. We'll see if it's going to change at all.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it there. Until next time, guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.
Cheers.